Hello everyone, my name is Peter, and in today's Scratch tutorial, we're going to be making a platformer game. And basically what a platformer game is a game where you can control your character to move them left or right, and they can also jump, which means we're going to be including gravity. So to start off, we have our player, which is just the cat, and the ground, which is just what the cat will stand on. So our first actual block we're using is set rotation style left right. And what that does is it makes it so that when the cat is facing a direction that's positive, it will be facing the right side, and if it's facing a direction that's negative, it will be facing towards the left side. So if you were to change the direction to negative, it would just turn to the left. This makes it easier so that we don't have to make a bunch of costumes to make it face the opposite direction. So now we have a variable called y-velocity, and what that variable does is basically it's our gravity. So first we make a variable, which is for all sprites, called y-velocity, and we set it to 0. So after that we have a forever loop, and we change y-velocity by -2. Then we change y by y-velocity. So that means the cat is going to be moving downwards. Then we have a repeat until not touching the ground. So basically, as long as the cat is touching the ground, the y velocity is going to be equal to 0, and then the y will be changed by 1. That means basically if the cat is in the air, it'll fall down until it hits the ground, and as long as it's touching the ground, it's not going to go down any farther. So if you were to just test this part out, all it does is basically makes the cat hover above the ground. And if I was to drop it from a certain height, like this, then it falls down and then reaches the ground. So the next part is actually making the controls. In this case, I'm using WASD, but you can use arrow keys as well. So when the key A is pressed, point in direction -90 and then move 6 steps. Now, it doesn't really have to be direction -90, it could be any negative number, but -90 is just what we're using in this case. And then for key D, this is what's going to make it go in the right direction. Just point in direction 90 and move 6 steps. Now we move positive steps since we're actually turning in the opposite direction when we're like using the A and D keys. So we don't have to use negative steps since the cat is already facing the direction we want it to. Now if we were to put this all together and test it out, we can see that our cat moves back and forth, but it has some hovering going on. So we're going to show you how to get rid of that in the next video. See you there. So this is part 2 of our series, and we're going to go over how to fix that hovering issue that we encountered in part 1. So you might notice the difference here, and we basically put this repeat until not touching ground part into a my block. Now what a my block is, it's basically a group of blocks that you can put into one block, and that one block can then be basically replaced like the group of blocks that was there. In this case, we're calling it handle ground since we're making it not shaky when it goes on the ground. Now when you make your my block in this section right here, all you need is a block name, which is handle ground, and then the most important part is to check this box here, run without screen refresh. So in my handle ground function or my block, I have this run without screen refresh. Now what that does is it basically just eliminates all of the jiggling up and down, since it basically just makes it so that the cat only runs whatever the final result would be. So if it was to just jiggle up and down and then finally level out, it would only show the part that actually levels out. So when I run this, it looks like the cat is just running smoothly across the ground, or gliding smoothly since there's no animations. But the next part we want to test is actually this steep slope. So in a realistic platformer game, your character shouldn't be able to do things like what I'm about to show you right here. So if I was to just try to go up this slope, let's see what happens. Now the cat immediately climbs up it and just zooms up. And that's not super realistic since that's not really how platformer games work with steep slopes. The cat shouldn't be able to climb up so fast. So in order to solve this, we have to add something to make it so that the cat can only climb up certain slopes, but not too steep. And we'll find out how to do that in the next video. See you guys there.